Good morning, everybody. It is a privilege for me to be here today in the morning. It's a wonderful 7th day of the week, and we do need rest. I think the week, the time is so compressing. Today is Monday, tomorrow is Friday. It's like just unbelievable how time flies. Without further delay, I would like to introduce the subject, couch potato generation. What is this all about? Here you have a rope that is barely tied together, and that's life. That's life. It's just about to stay there for a few seconds. Here you have a remote control, correct? And the media and the TV stimulates the development of appetite that is uncontrolled. So that's why I will try to link the food addiction, the subject last night, with the media and the impact of television and the development of uncontrolled appetite in our society. In reality, Jim Rohn says, take care of your body is the only place you have to live. Is that true? Take care of your body is the only place you have to live. So if our body is miserable, do you feel comfortable? No. So the body has to be taken care of. The next subject that will be at 11 o'clock, we will talk about the mind. But now we talk about the body, which is in connection with the couch potato generation. Now, when we talk about obesity, the statistics said that 30% of adults are obese at this stage. 1 out of 3 children are overweight or obese. And the projection, which is not very fertile, in 2015, which is 2 years backwards, shows 2.3 billion will all be overweight and 700 million will be obese. Out of 7.4 billion population in the world, 700, almost 1 billion will be obese, which would decrease the quality of our lives. And there are triggers, there are factors that are in play to stimulate the food addiction, and I do believe that TV is one of them. In reality, obesity has blessed us, quote unquote, with this kind of disease, coronary heart disease, diabetes, cancer, hypertension, stroke, liver problems, sleep apnea, osteoporosis, infertility. You need more Viagra because people are losing their manhood and so on and so forth. Metabolic syndrome. This is the blessing that overweight or obesity, extra pounds on our body gives us. And here is the cookies and the eggs and the cheese and the milk and all the abundance of fats that go straight here, creating a problem with our heart. Now, my belly, it took 40 pounds when I was, as I said last night, I was indulging this. These are caloric bombs. These are mega calories. And you know, donuts and stuff in American culture, we do have a breakfast. What is for breakfast in our American culture? Donuts, coffee, and a cigarette, correct? Would you give that to your dog for the breakfast? You see, we treat our dogs and cats better than ourselves. We treat our cars better than ourselves. So the breakfast Sunday, we will have a food demo, and I would like to overemphasize the quality of a good breakfast for a human body and quality of life. We jump and reverse values. We have the breakfast in the evening. We confuse breakfast with the dinner. Dinner should be the breakfast, and breakfast should be the dinner, in a sense. But we will see that. And so we are dealing with this situation in our generation. People know me, remember me 5-6 years ago. I will arrive, my belly will arrive in the church, and 20 minutes later I will arrive as well. So it is very embarrassing, you know, to preach about health and happiness, and you are a miserable human being. I was that kind of a hypocrite, you know, teaching people about happiness, and I was a mess. And I know that it's not conventional for ministers to make public confessions. Ministers and pastors are never wrong. They are always good. They know the Bible. No, we are humans and we are exposed to the same kind of temptations. The only disadvantage we have as pastors is that we can lose eternal life 10 times easier than a lay member. Because the responsibility, because of the seriousness and the consciousness of our knowledge, makes us 10 times guiltier before God than a lay member. So that was my misery. Teaching people about hope myself, a person without vision and without hope. So that was me 5, 6 years ago. And today's generation, because you can reflect yourself in me, in one of me. You can be one of me in this million people in our society. We eat more calories, we have more car. You go to Walmart and you're looking for the closest parking spot to walk as less as possible. Is that true? I've seen people going around in the parking lot of the grocery store 2, 3 times until they find, I economized time. I have 2 spots closer to the grocery store. So more car, less, everything, less physical exercise. And that brings us to this situation where we are, and why? Why? There are many things, but more food, less movement, instant pleasure. We want instant soup, instant milk, instant everything. Should be quick, correct? That's why we have fast food. If the food is not fast, you don't stay online, correct? I was in Canada, in Vancouver, for a health seminar 3 years ago, I guess. And here is a Chinese boy. He's with no papers in Canada. He's an illegal immigrant. And he works like a slave from 5 o'clock in the morning to 6, 7 o'clock in the evening. He has to survive. And I was dealing there with a presentation of good quality food and food demo. And the guy is coming to me and says, listen, I'm a poor man. I don't have money. I don't have time to do these fancy things that you're doing here. And I'm going to the McDonald's or Burger King. I buy my French fries, my burger, and I run. I said, how much time do you stay online to the Burger King or McDonald's to take your stuff? 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes, fast food. You know, you buy. That restaurant must be fast in order to have clients or customers. So I said, how about if I prepare a breakfast under 12 minutes? If I beat McDonald's with 2 minutes, would you change the lifestyle and replace McDonald's with what I will give you to eat in the morning for breakfast? And he says, yes, I will take the challenge. So I presented a breakfast under 10 minutes. So Sunday, I do have the challenge for you. After the presentation at 1 o'clock, I will invite you to our small congregation church there. We have a nice kitchen. And we will do a full demo. 10 minutes breakfast, the best breakfast in the universe. 750 calories, 800 calories. You don't stay online, McDonald's, you eat the best, and you will be happy for 5, 6 hours. And your belly will say, thank you, man. Thank you for coming to your senses. You know? So instant pleasure, another problem with our generation is obsession for news. Emotionally oriented society. So these are the triggers that makes us to be addicted to food and addicted to media. In reality, we have new movies, new foods, new music, new husband, wife, zero, you live with your wife for 10 years and then you go buy another car, 0 miles, yes? Because your wife has 100,000 miles, it's not good, or you buy another car, So everybody wants new adventure, new house, furniture, car, etc. Sometimes I deal with this situation where wife wants to have new furniture, and you are a husband and you don't have enough money to buy furniture, correct? And you take a talk and the dialogue, say, hon, we cannot buy furniture this year. It says, okay. And tomorrow morning she wakes up and she comes to you and says, you know what, I was thinking to move the library from here, we take that couch from there, put here, and we have brand new furniture. Everything is new in the house. You just shift the things, the objects in the house, in the room, and you have a new design. So it is, for some reason, we do have this obsession, everything must be new. And that's the building society for consumption. We eat to survive and make other people happy. Now, something about the music, the movies and the media. There is a guy that has big money, has the monopoly of the television. And some journalists came to him and says, hey, how much TV do you watch? Because you are the mentor of satellite and all these things. And so here is the guru of television in America. The guy is asked how much TV he's watching. He's offering TV to people, programs and stuff. And someone is asking him, have the guts and the courage to say, how much TV do you watch? And the media guru is telling to the journalist, do you think I'm stupid? I have a life to live. I don't watch TV, buddy. TV is for the crowd. You see, so the guru of television tells you that he's not watching 1 second TV because he has a life to live. And they're selling you $150 per month channels. You know, so the guy that is making money on this, he doesn't spend time to watch TV. So that's a society kind of triggers addiction in foods and a metabolistic situation with our health environment in our society. Media has definitely an impact. People, when are watching TV, they eat 2-3 times more food than is necessary. That's the reality. Remote control is one side, the burger is in the other side, and the life expectancy goes absolutely down. Media has a virtual world impacts our generation. This is his wife. You see, this gentleman is so tired, and this is his wife and his children and his future. You know, when he gets sick and old, he will call the computer, hey, come and cry with me. But the computer doesn't know to cry, correct? And seeking the sensational entertainment, you know, alcohol and food. These are the triangles. This is the triangle: entertainment, alcohol, and food, and the video camera, the remote control, the television. Food, media, movies, entertainment, desire for news, that is what destroys our society today. Look, this is a very interesting picture. I guess, I don't know exactly if you know, this picture, it's a cinema. It's a cinema in the United States of America, roughly in the 20s, 1920, 1921. Recession time. Some of the people remember those days, yes? Recession time, a Great Depression in America with the economical collapse. People were, in those days, how many overweight people do you see in the cinema? Do you see society in America in 1920? You rarely could see someone overweight. Since Coca-Cola started to knock to the doors of the people and give 6 cans of soda there at the door for free in the first years, nobody was obese in America. But you start to have the caloric bombs with sugars and alkaloids and all these crazy things, and the food industry stimulating with growth hormones, you know, and our society start to become sicker. So here is a cinema in 1920. Now, overweight computer, 1977, the computer was fat, correct? In 1977, the computer was fat and the people were skinny, correct? Now look at this. 40 years later, computer is skinny. Yes, computer is skinny. And in 2007, and people become fat. Yes, so we reverse. In 1977, you have fat computer, skinny people. Now you switch that. You have fat me and skinny computers. Which means that food and media have something to do. Food addiction. The scientists have discovered in the present time, my dear friends, that exposure to screen, electronic screen, TV, computer, whatever, stimulates the brain for extra artificial cravings for food. So people usually that are spending time in front of a computer, in front of TV, or in front of electronic devices, they will double increase the craving for foods. So people that are related to electronic devices, they have much more tendency to eat in that respect. So it is very important for us to understand this connection. It's 2017, you have a skinny TV, but you have an overweight myself. 40% of our life is spent in a car. What do you think about that? You know, we live in a car, we divorce in the car, we say I love you in the car, we say I hate you in the car, we say I don't have time for you in the car. I mean, half of life is spent in a car. That's the sad reality in the couch potato generation. Technomania. You see here, you have satellite, you have an ESC, you know, a button of the computer, you have 3 remote control in form of a sign of a cross. What buries Christianity today, what buries and destroys the spirituality of the people that love this country so much, the forefathers, is the television and the programs. In fact, you will be amazed that Hollywood is increasing production of movies about the revelation, the end of the world, with 37%. So if you look in the statistics of Hollywood, they make more movies about apocalypses the end of the world, the destruction, asteroids, collapse of the planet and stuff like that. There is a feeling in society that something wrong must happen with our planet. And Hollywood buys that market, produces movies in regard to the end of the world to excite your emotions. And that's why I say technomania, it's another mental disease that affects our society and our generation. To be in contact with many. You are not a god, but basically computer, Facebook, all these crazy things, they try to make you, to set you in place of God. I cannot be in contact with everybody. It's impossible. If you try to be in contact with everybody, you will lose your mind. You are not a god. I am not a god. I am a human being. And my circle of influence is very, very limited. You have to admit your limitation. I have to admit my limitations. We cannot be the savior of the world. In fact, Jesus talked to me once and said, hey, you cannot save the world. You are a man, a human. You have your limitations. So being in contact with everybody will drive us crazy. Virtual world makes us live in images. And that's why people eat and watch and eat and watch and watch and eat as well. Did you see? Okay, let me address outside church question. If it happened that you go to the cinema, do you know how big is that popcorn bucket that people buy at the entry to the cinema? In a bucket of popcorn and 2.5 liters Coca-Cola, you have the popcorn here and the Coca-Cola here and the action. And then you drink and eat and drink and eat and you are entertained, meaning hooked on that action. So food and media makes us couch potato generation. That's a real problem. Virtual world, in reality, Facebook, Instagram, and all this, and the kids can know, the young people, the teenagers here, they can understand that the virtual world will destroy the reality and the faculties of reasoning. What is reality and what is not reality in a sense. Albert Einstein, 1945, I guess, made a statement, I fear the day when technology will surpass human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. I am not quite sure if the time arrived or it's here or not, but this is the truth. If you have a problem, you want to sue, you want to bring these gentlemen in court for a nasty statement, that's your business. But I really appreciate the serenity and the frankness of one of the most brilliant minds in the world of science, Albert Einstein, who says, I fear the day when the technology will surpass human interaction. The world will have a generation of idiots. And you know, it's interesting because I want to talk a little bit about idiots. Evolutionary thinking, this is the religion of the world today, yes? Evolutionary thinking. You have monkey, and we claim to be related with the monkeys, but I tell you, monkeys are not very happy with that. The monkeys say, no, guys, you're not related with me. We don't have homosexuals, divorce, gay movements, all these divorces. We don't smoke and drink alcohol. Most of the monkeys are vegetarian, so you are not from us. We don't eat chocolates and cookies and all these things. You know, you may struggle to prove that you are from us, but we don't have a problem. We don't have a connection with you. But in reality, we try to be a monkey. You know, this is the kind of an evolution we have here, you know, going backwards. And we have the little electronic monkey here, or gagging, you know, walking like this, and you know, and the car can hit you across the street looking in your whatever. And it's interesting about evolutionary thinking. I left Romania, a country with a powerful communist input. And you know which is the foundation of communism, yes? The foundation of communism is evolutionary thinking, correct? So what happens is that evolutionary thinking, man, there is no God and we are coming from this gentleman here. It's the foundation. So I'm living in California. And I had the chance to interact with the University of California. And all of a sudden, I heard that the great teacher comes in University of California to teach the students scientific socialism. So I said, who is this guy that is teaching students in America scientific socialism? It's Gorbachev, the president of Russia, former president. I said, what? But that guy is communist. That guy believes in evolution. Says, yes, he's coming to teach American students atheism and communism. So I was running from communism in Europe, coming here. Whew, this is a country of beautiful and everything is good. And I see the guy from Russia coming to educate your kids that we're coming from monkey. That transforms and has a connection with the couch potato generation in today's society, my friends. Unfortunately, life is not a movie. Is that true? Yes or no? Life is not a movie. And when Albert Einstein said that the generation would be a generation of idiots, my friends, I want to tell you something. I am a former idiot. Before I became a Christian, I was an atheist. I didn't believe anything. I was surrounded by Islamic religion. I was born in southeast of Romania, and Christianity was a minority there. We had a lot of Muslims, Turkish people, and as an atheist, I didn't have any religion, anything to do with. I didn't have any exposure to any religion. And guess what? The first exposure was to the Quran, not to the Bible. And someone asked me, why as an atheist you decided to become a Christian? I said, simple fact. You know, in the Quran you have, they don't have, like we have Bible verses, yes? They have surah. So in at least 4 or 5 places in the Quran, they say if you meet an infidel, kill him. So, extermination. If you're not a Muslim, you must die. And then I opened the Bible, I had a chance to open the Bible, and I met one Bible verse there. I even didn't know who this Jesus is. And I met Matthew chapter 5, verse 42, 43. It says, bless your enemies, pray, love your enemies, pray for those that curse you, love those that persecute you, and all these things. I said, wow, Jesus tells me to love my enemies. What the difference between love your enemies and kill your enemies? Quran suggests exterminate your enemies, and Jesus says love the exterminators, love the Muslims. So I had a friend, Mehmet, and he was a Muslim, and I told him, listen, I was an atheist and I had to choose between Quran and the Bible. I said I became a Christian, and he was very upset. Why? I said, Mehmet, with all my due respect, but it looks very human to me, love your enemies, and very inhuman, hate and kill your enemies. So I had to choose between 2 philosophies. Muhammad, philosophy of extermination, and the philosophy of love and compassion of Jesus Christ. And so that's why. But before I read the Bible, my Bible was a TV. And I was watching movies. Young people, teenagers, if you love TVs, if you love movies, I want to address straight to the young people now. I was an idiot. I was 16 years old, and I started to watch a movie. First time when you watch a movie, you watch it from the beginning to the end, correct? Yes or no? Yes, that's true. Then you become an expert. You go to an extra level. You start to watch the beginning of the movie and then the end of the movie, because you start to smell the action. Then the next stage of idiotism is when you watch, you don't watch the beginning, you just watch the end of the movie. And the super statement of idiotism, you don't watch any movie, you ask for the title. What is the title of that movie? I know. You already smell and have the flavor, anticipate what is the movie all about, because you know all the movies in the universe. I have a pain in my heart. If the young people will know the Bible like they know the movies in the Hollywood, what a society our country will have today. But unfortunately, the more movie, the less Bible. The more movie, the less respect to the parents. The more movie, the less interaction with society. The more movie, less human elements in our behavior, in our character. It's very sad to say that, but I was an idiot until I met Jesus. I met Jesus and I said, wow, this is the real hero of my life. And I want this man, Jesus Christ, to be my hero. And since that time, things changed. I gave up all this TV, and praise the Lord that God loves even idiots like me. So if you feel in the picture, you follow me, just shake hands with Jesus today, and you will get off a couch potato generation. You will have a different type of perspective about life, and you will be a happy person. I am a happy person. I divorced TV. I divorced movies. And I married spiritually with the best and most wonderful being in the universe, Jesus Christ. Amen. And I'm really happy. Life is not a movie. But how? Hey, I will tell you a movie. Husbands and wives, you are here to watch the best movie because you have that movie in your mind, and you will prove me right. For instance, you wake up in the morning, okay? You wake up in the morning, and in your house, your mother will have a hot tea for you, will have a tea for you in the morning, correct? And you wake up 7 o'clock in the morning, and you have the hot tea for you. You look to your spouse, who did that? And she or he smiles to you, say, honey, I love you so much. I did the tea for you. Wow, I am happy. I'm going down in the kitchen. I see my best breakfast, 4 eggs, goat cheese, and French fries. And you look, who did that for me? My wife or my husband? You know, husband applies for both, correct? So then you go in the car. It's winter, Colorado. You have a big snow here, yes? And the car is really cold, especially if it's outside. You have to warm up the car for a couple of minutes and then, you know, get in the car and drive to work. So you go and say, man, I have to turn on the car. And you discover that the car is on already. The engine is running. And outside you have snow and wind and freezing weather. And inside is hot and warm. And you say, who did that? And you look through the window of your house and someone smiles to you and say, hi, honey, I did that for you. So you have the cup of tea in the morning. You have the good breakfast. You have the car warmed up. Mamma mia, what a wonderful life. You go to work. As soon as you step in your company, the boss comes here with a $10,000 prime. He says, man, you are the best worker I have. You are the best lady in this company. You are the best man in this company. Here is the $10,000 prime. It's my prize of recognition for what you are. Oh, you take that prize, put it in a pocket, go and sit at your office. The other guy to the next office will knock on the door and say, hey, what our company will be without your presence? You are the best man. You are the best woman. You make the difference amongst us as co-workers. So you felt good. Everybody, this is a movie, yes? Hey, this is a movie. This is a movie, correct? Then you go back home, get in a car, turn on the radio, and you have Colorado, football, the net. Okay. So you have your favorite team winning in the radio. You are so happy. You kill the time. I have 1 hour to spend in traffic. Sport. My team won, so I'm happy. While you finish the game, the doctor calls you and say, hey, sir, you went 2 weeks ago, you came to visit with us, and you took some blood tests, and you have no cancer. Your biological age is 31 years. You are strong. Your machine is going well. Even though you are 60, inside you are 31. So you are good. You don't die of cancer. Man, another good news. You go home and stop the car, and all of a sudden your spouse tells you, hey, honey, how are you? Did you remember we had a discussion about lottery ticket you purchased last week? And you are ready to apologize. Honey, I'm sorry, I have this habit to buy the lottery tickets and I spend. No, don't apologize. You were right. First time when your husband is right in his life. We won a $1.5 million lottery. So don't apologize for that. That was an amazing mistake. So you got a prime, everybody loves you, everybody treats you well, and you got a 1.5 million, you don't need to work anymore. So we stop. Movie ends. Tell me, did you like this movie? It's a movie, it's not a real life. Yes, now we go back to our real life. You see, my dear friends, every one of us, sincerely, would like to be treated that way in this movie. Men or women, regardless. Is that true? We would love to be that best hero in the movie. In reality, life is not a movie. So let's go with couch potato generation kids. You know, kids, they need us today, but we don't have time. And a little child, this is a classic picture. A child gets out of home because the father is busy with the TV and the mother is busy with the TV as well. And the child says, Lord, make me a TV. Make me to be a TV. Make me to be a TV. I want mommy and daddy to look to me because they watch only the TV. You know, my friends, one of the biggest businesses are going up in this country is their retirement homes. You know why? More parents are going there. In traditional cultures, parents are taken care of by the children until they die. Deep traditional cultures do that. I mean, back in my country, Romania, we used to have that. We start to lose that dimension as well. But you see that there is a cause and effect problem. When the kids are small, we're busy. We don't have time for them, correct? They need us, but we are not there for them. When the kids are grown up, we are old, and we need them, but they are busy and they don't have time for us. Is that true? So if we don't have the children the favor of being with them when they need us, when we need them, they will not be there. And we'll say, Dad, you know what? Go to the retirement home. I don't need you. And that's really bad. What is my life, in fact? My life, it's 10% of what happens and 90% of how we react to it. Is that true? It's 10% of what happens. And the rest, 90% is my choice. The way that I interact with what happens. That's 90% my life. And I know that the only God we have in America, by secular society I'm talking about, is money. We want to have money. And money gives us happiness. But we can buy amusement with money, but not happiness. Is there a difference between amusement and happiness? Is there? You know, back in Germany, you heard about Clown Stappitz, was in 70s, I guess. And here is a doctor. He finishes his hours of office, and he has 2 tickets for him and his wife to go to see Clown Stappitz. And the guy says, oh, you know, I'm rushing all the customers, all the clients to go to the circus at 6 o'clock in the evening. And the last patient knocks on the door, says, sir, I'm so depressed. I need some medication. Sir, okay, give this, give that pill. No, I have taken that, doesn't work. Okay, take this. No, I didn't, it doesn't work. What's going on with you, man? And the doctor says, listen, I have to go to Clown Stappitz to see that circus. I cannot miss that 1 hour and a half of amusement. And when he saw that the guy doesn't have any coherency in the dialogue with the patient, says, listen, the doctor calls his wife, says, honey, it's supposed that you come with me to the circus, but you will not. So hang on, and says, sir, I have a ticket, you come with me to the circus, and you will have a 1 hour and a half laughing, and you will get out of depression. And the guy is looking, sir, I cannot though. And the doctor is running crazy. Man, I am losing my time with you. You refuse all the medication. Please come with me to see Clown Stappitz, and you will be happy for, at least 1 hour and a half. And the patient is looking to the doctor, says, sir, with all my due respect, I am Clown Stappitz. So can you imagine? The guy that was making people, entertaining people, making them to amuse for 1 hour and a half was depressed. So he was seeking the medical doctor for advice. And the guy says, oh, I give you Clown Stappitz medication. He says, it is not possible. It doesn't work. I am Clown Stappitz. So we talk about happiness. With money, yes, you can buy a ticket to a circus. You can buy amusement, but not happiness. With money, you can buy a house, but not a home. Is there a difference? House and home? Yes. With money, you can buy a pen, but not wisdom. With money, you can buy an army and lose the war. That's the reality. Money is not the value. And as long as we replace God and our forefathers' values in our country, we are going down and down, and the lack of the lack of happiness will be tremendous in the following generation. Now, here is some picture, if you wish. What do you think about the way that they eat? Look at the guy. He's not overweight, correct? She's not overweight. They have kids. They eat conventional food, but they work with their hands like crazy. What fits your busy schedule? The doctor told me 5 years ago, 30 minutes a day or being dead 24 hours. This is a question, a statement, and a question that is addressed to everybody. Do you want to be dead 24 hours, or you make some physical exercise half an hour per day? What do you fit your schedule? So that's me, and by the grace of God, losing 80 pounds, I can tie my shoes, I can run, I don't snore. I remember my wife was complaining because I was snoring and she could not sleep. And now I don't snore, and she's afraid that I died. And one night she woke me up and says, hey, are you awake? Because you don't breathe. I do breathe. Come on, let me alone. I want to sleep. But when the arteries are in the body, reverses fats in you, and the body burns all those garbage, all that toxin that was inside, including the reverses the heart disease, and all those arteries that were clogged with the fats will disappear if you cut all the triggers. And now I don't snore and I sleep very well, and I don't dream the book of Revelation, all the dragons. If you try to have a party at 11 o'clock in the night, you will go to dream all the beasts in the book of Revelation and all those dragons that kick you and run you, and you have a nightmare for 6-7 hours, and you wake up in the morning and say, wow, what's good that this movie is finished. You know, we pay a big price for a late dinner. Big price for a late dinner. So, if you move, you exist. If you don't move, you don't exist. Is that true? That's the problem with couch potato generation. If you don't move, basically life is conditioned by movement, correct? So here is being active. This is America in 1920. America in 1920. They were moving with 15 miles per hour, the highest speed of a horse. And guess what? In America, in our country here, beautiful country, nobody will be late in 1920. And they were moving with 15 miles per hour. There was no stress business. They're happy people. They will be in time everywhere to any appointment. Today we have BMW, Mercedes, we're all kind of fancy cars, and we are late 10, 15 minutes every time. You know, here is the kids. You see, this is the iPad. This is the cell phone, the iPhone 7. Kids were working. In 1920, American kids were working. Today's child abuse, to put your child to work, to pull the crops in the bucket and teach the child that, hey, food does not fall from heaven. You have to work with your hands to produce food, correct? Oh, this is a child abuse. How dare you take a 9, 10 years old poor kid to put him to work? Don't destroy his self-esteem. Let him grow to the left, to the right. You see, this is America. This is American family, 1920. Do you see any overweight personality here? Individual? The father, the husband, 5 kids, beautiful kids, yes? You know, this is because everybody was active. No iPhone, no cell phone, no internet, no Facebook, no Instagram, no nothing. This was not a generation of idiots. These were the true Americans that made a difference in the entire world. When I was a student in Romania, I was reading about American literature, and I tell you, I was dreaming. I said, this is the best country in the world. The forefathers of this country were Christians, and they believed in the Bible. And these people have established the most extraordinary enactment after Magna Carta in England. American Constitution, the United States Constitution, is the best civil and political enactment that was ever produced by a society in the history of humanity. And these were the people, the children of those forefathers. You know, farming was a pleasure. People were not dying of dementia or having Alzheimer at the age of 50 or 60. They were working in a farm up to late 80s or 90 years of age. You know, kids, they were not watching movies. They were playing outside in the mud with the cows and the dogs and all the animals around, and they will fall asleep happy with no problems. Yes, that was American 1920. People were not embarrassed to have a prayer in the public meetings those days. Today we excluded God from every single resort of our educational system. That's why we became a couch potato generation. So here is backwards and reverse. We have hell nuggets. They had the lentil soup. You know, who eats only 2 chicken nuggets? In McDonald's they sell what? 6, 12, 20, stuff like that. So if you eat that bucket of chicken nuggets, you know, you will get extra calories. So lentil soup is not in fashion. Cashew is not. Potatoes is not. This is okay because you find that in every, if you stop in a gas station, you don't find watermelon, but you find this, yes? Every gas station has food now because you know that they are in rush, they know that you are in rush, and you buy that. You don't have a pineapple in a gas food station, and a gas station, but you have these gummy bears. I explained about the chips. You have this in the gas station. You don't have the celery. You have the chocolate in the gas station. You don't have that. You know, you have the crackers, you know, snacks. And now let me tell you something. If you want to do a gymnastics, pasta is something very Italian, but it comes to our country too. So you have pasta, you know, this is 4 cups of whole wheat pasta, 700 calories. If you cut 2 of these, if you want to cut the calories with 38%, you replace that with vegetables. So you eat 2 bowls of pasta and vegetables, what will be the difference? 430 calories. More fruits, more vegetables, less calories, less overweight. So we have to stop to eat junk food and think for us, for our benefit and the benefit of our children. So get moving. Do some physical exercise every day. Get off the movie, get off the TV, forget about the internet, forget about what others do in Facebook, and do your walking every hour, every day, 1 hour. At least fresh air, good quality. Yeah, get moving. And your neurons will say, hey, I'm happy. Just move, get moving, do something. Time to rest. Complete health means, I have some tips for the end of this presentation. In the morning, eat like a king. In the noontime, like a prince. But when I say in the morning, eat like a king, don't eat donuts. But, you know, I don't mean eat donuts like kings, you know. In the morning, eat like a king, meaning well. At noon, act like a prince. In the evening, like a beggar. You know, beggars don't have much to eat, yes, oftentimes. Now, in the morning, eat alone. This is a different version of that. At noontime, share with your friends, and in the evening, give it to the enemies. So that's cut the dinner, cut the cultural, cut the traditional food in the evening that kills us. That's very important. When you finish eating, you should leave the table with the same appetite you came to the table. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, and put a knife to thy throat if thou be a man given to appetite. So if you cannot stop eating, tell your husband or tell your wife, put a knife to the throat and stop eating, you know. So this is Proverbs chapter 23 verse 1. If you are a man that you depend, you are a slave of appetite, take a knife and put it to the throat. That's it. Eating when not hungry is like digging the grave with your own teeth. Do not eat when you are upset, neither when you are tired. Don't eat. This is very important. These are tips that you don't need university to understand that they are okay and make common sense, correct? And then drink water in the morning and at least 2 liters per day. You know, don't drink water while eating nor half an hour before or after eating. These are very simple things. Showering cold hot 30 minutes every day stimulates serotonin and boosts the immune system. Helps you to be a person that has a positive mood all the time. So that's very important. Fruits for the brain, morning breakfast, you know, vegetables for the muscles. If you are a guy that works in construction, eat more this stuff, you know, and you will not die. Fruits and vegetables, don't mix. You get alcohol in the body and you get drunk. You know, you produce fermentation when you mix fruits and vegetables, and then that ferment goes in the blood and we start to talk nonsense, correct? 20 minutes after every meal. You eat 3 times a day, 20 minutes walk, 20 minutes, and you will have 3 meals, 1 hour per day walking. Is that much? Is that how much you pay for a prescription, medical prescription, when you go to the doctor? They don't give you that much. Walk, 20 minutes, walk. If you want to gossip about somebody, do it in movement. Take your wife and go and walk, and let's talk about our neighbor, if that's your pleasure. You know. And this is the most important thing, equilibrium in an aqua system, my friends. You preserve the balance, and I do believe that we can find that balance, and we stop to be couch potato generation. In reality, you know, it doesn't matter how many bananas we eat, correct? It doesn't matter how many bananas. In one day we will go to the cemetery. We will die. But it does matter how we die. I had an unfortunate experience to bury my father. My father, I was in Florida last year. It was December 12th. And my mother is still back in Romania. And it was midnight, Friday night. And my mother gave me a call, says, Liviu, your father passes away, come home soon. My father struggled with alcohol and meats and fats and cigarettes for many years. He was 76 when he passed away. He was a very, very strong constitution. Yet he could not manage to give up alcohol, cigarettes, and fats, meat. And I wrote a letter to him immediately, and I said, stay alive, I'm coming home, I want to see you, I want to give you an embrace. I love my father, you know. And I wrote the most beautiful words I could ever imagine to write to my father. Stay alive, you are a hero, you are a this, you are that. I encouraged him. I gave him the best words I could as a pastor, as a son, to a person that is dear to me and is in a hospital. I sent that via email to someone, and hopefully that this young fellow will go to the hospital to give the letter to my father. It was a 6 hours time difference, and by the time the letter attempted to reach hospital, my father passed away. It was Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. He didn't get the letter. I was so upset with myself because I'm a preacher. I talk to people, I bring people back to God, and I could not rescue my own father. It was really painful for me. Here is the preacher that is not capable to help his own father. So when we had the funeral, I had to recite words that I wrote in the letter to him post-mortem. It didn't make any sense. He didn't hear. I do believe that if that letter would have arrived in his hands while he was alive, would have made much more sense and difference, but it did not. And I will stay with these regrets up to the end of my life, that the most beautiful words I could ever express to my father were not reaching him while alive. If you have parents, if you have fathers and mothers, if you have people that you love, don't wait until you get a phone call. Say those words while they are alive. It makes so much sense. And that's my wish and prayer for all of you, my friends. Couch potato generation can change. We can stand and walk the walk and talk the talk, and we can be a better people, men and women, that reverse the direction our country goes, and we can go back to the originals, the fundamental principles of America, the forefathers with the Bible in the hand, with a street in America with no shootings, no guns, no alcohol, no drunkards. This is what I want. I want an America back, America that can really give us the flavor of what it used to be heaven. I really appreciate your presence here, and we do have a musical intermezzo, 15 minutes break time, and then we will go to the next subject of ours at 11 o'clock for positive thinking. So if there are any questions, you can be addressed publicly, or we can have that after the 12 o'clock, the second session. And I hope that we can have a time of refreshing our minds. I thank you really very much for that. And I hope that the Lord will give us strength to get off the couch potato generation and get the balance of life and be happy people and happy men and happy women in this life, and happy parents and happy children, correct? So yes, I thank you very much once again, and